start straight away with questions. See, there is a problem about definition of MSME in this country. That's an issue which has been plaguing, in the industry, government, and everybody for quite some time. I think FICCI also came out with some report last year regarding this definition and all. And one issue in the definition is perhaps the cap. What should be the MSME cap? How do you think this can be addressed, and is FICCI working on it to tackle this problem?
We always have been, it's not just now, we've always been in touch with the ministry, and we had discussed this issue of cap and how they can be in indexing like you're suggesting. But let me go beyond that. I think the time has come when we have to look at ourselves as a mature market economy. In a mature market economy, it should be immaterial what you are or what you're not. If you have a good business model, that's all that should matter. So I think government also is slowly moving towards a situation where there is an equilibrium in terms of all people functioning in a particular manner in a market economy. Yes, there is time to give some particular incentive, and tremendous incentives have been given to SMEs. And most recently, as you have seen yourself, this superb startup event which happened, many of those incentives will actually be linked to startups, and therefore those startups will be SMEs actually, because they will be covered under that. But I think if I look ahead, and if you want us to be really, as I said, be a mature economy, we must come to a situation where there should be a common set of incentives which should be available. And what is that common set of incentives? It should basically be your taxation system, your financial systems, your credit policies. Those should determine how the market actually functions. And based on that, people find their slot within it. And I think all of us are striving towards that. Your very SMEpost which you're describing to me just now, this is an excellent idea. Let me compliment you on this, that you're trying to aggregate both demand as well as supply. Both ends of it you're looking at by having a virtual portal that provides these kind of services. I think this is the kind of work that we need. We need this not just for SMEs, we need this for country-wise. FICCI itself does it. FICCI has a very large digital-based platform which we call BizNet, which is now almost 20 years old now. It has a database of over 200,000 companies, and it's basically providing similar kinds of services. That means if you have a demand and somebody else has a supply, how to link and marry those two together. So these kind of services will determine the kind of business relationships as we move ahead. And I think these kind of services is what's really crucial, rather than us looking always at special incentives and definitions and things like this. This is my view.
Yeah.
It is all about the supply chain. And today in the global world, as we are emerging, we are beginning to see that supply chains are not even geographical in nature. Supply chains can be across borders. Supply chains can be of different types and different levels of production, different levels of supply, all basically determined by market mechanics. And market mechanics is a combination, as we all know, of supply and demand, but they're also a combination of production, of raw material, of labor, so many other components that go into manufacturing. And of course services is a different angle which links to it. So those days when you had to have a mother factory which would then spread production facilities around it, and they would link into it, I think those days are somewhat ending now. Yes, it is there. You have these large factories in China, and now that disruption is taking place there, but in many ways, as we look ahead, and now I'm being futuristic, if you look ahead and there is really going to be robotics which takes over, suddenly it will disrupt supply chains completely. with robotics, I'll be able to manufacture my entire iPhone in California. Why do I have to go to Taiwan or anywhere else? It's easier for me to those advantages of labor will go. So we have to look ahead. We have to think that India also, as it emerges, we have the best of talent, we have the best of our innovation, and that's what startups is all about. I think they will show that functioning in this 21st century market economy, there is no such thing as one model. You've just described two possible models of having a base and then building around it with country, and those without it. I think for us, even as India, now that we're so integrated into a global market, we are entering supply chains at all levels, and SMEs must be part of supply chains in some manner and really bring value to it, because what is the basis of being in a supply chain? It's only the value you bring. It's not somebody else's value. Your value could be of use.
E-commerce perhaps?
E-commerce, absolutely. E-commerce is one more way, but I would say more e-production in this context. Because if you're talking of manufacturing, it's the e-production and the linkages that you have provide to make it easy to get your products there, and logistics and all these things getting taken care of, and that making it more beneficial for you to be part of that particular supply chain. Our wish list has always been and continues to be ease of doing business. Tax is only one small part of the entire production value chains. Yes, at the time of budget, of course, we'll talk of tax, because that is the one which is most relevant. Budget is all about tax. But on the tax part, what FICCI has been talking more than in terms of rates and SOPs, FICCI has been talking about the ease of taxation. In other words, can we have a system by which tax administration is more conducive to business, where we have a whole questions of all these claims and counterclaims and demands and all the rest of it? Can it be more structured? Can it be better for business? And this actually impacts SMEs more than anybody else, because the average SME, if it's got to go through difficulties in its business, in its functioning, and these difficulties can range from licensing to day-to-day inspectors to movement of its goods to logistics to so many other issues. To me, that is much more important than tax. And therefore, in answer to your question, I believe the key to SMEs, or that is any kind of manufacturing in India, is really ease of doing business. And we're extremely happy to see that this government has really focused on that. They have really moved. Already we have, as you are well aware, we have moved up the index of the WTO, on the index of WEF, which was on competitiveness, on World Bank. We have improved. So I'm sure that there's more will happen in this direction. The only formula is e-governance. There's no other formula. The more and more we put on to the digital network, where all your approvals, all your functioning, all your reports, and all your claims and counterclaims are all settled without a physical interface between, let us say, a regulatory system and a private business. The moment you get rid of all of that, you will have solved the problem. Dispute resolution in the taxation administration should be quick and fast. Number two, ease of business in terms of its totality, not just so far as taxation is concerned, but the whole context of doing business. And here it's more to do with state governments than with the central government, because day to day, especially SMEs, deal with municipalities, state governments, all the different parts of India that they're there. So that should definitely improve. And the third most important thing I would say is really logistics and infrastructure. If we can get logistics and infrastructure and budget put more money into it, so that for the country as a whole, logistics and infrastructure improves, that will actually help business and certainly SMEs.
Yeah, GST is one thing perhaps would help.
Of course it will help. Of course it will help, and it will really help small businesses. SMEs will be the greatest beneficiaries of GST.
So where does it stand? Do you think that it is going to be resolved?
100%. 100%. The country wants it. It will happen.
Thank you.